The FBI is getting sued, and this time it has absolutely nothing to do with Donald Trump. Hey, this is Drew Page. Welcome to the Drew Page channel. In this video, we're going to talk about a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit that has been filed against the FBI requesting files from the Vietnam era. News broke today on the Washington Post that rock band The Monkees has sued the FBI for documents that they have in their possession under the Freedom of Information Act. According to the FBI, the allegation was that the Monkees had a subliminal message up on one of their screens in relation to depicting racial equality protests and anti-U.S. messages on the war in Vietnam. And as a result, an investigation was opened up and some sort of file was created. Now, apparently, they didn't realize this was the case until the document was declassified. But now the one of the last surviving member of the Monkees has requested through an attorney any documents relating to the investigation under the Freedom of Information Act. Anytime you want to make a request, you just simply submit a letter, or you can do a petition. It doesn't really make any difference as long as you're giving notice of what it is that you're trying to get, and state that it's pursuant to the Freedom of Information Act. If you're using a state Freedom of Information Act, you would just cite that code section. For federal sections, you would use that, or whichever one you want to use, or maybe in circumstances you would use both. But in this case, it's a federal Freedom of Information Act. The lawyer for the Monkees indicates that normally when you make that request, you get a response within 20 days. However, to date, the only thing the lawyer has received is a confirmation that the request has been received. He hasn't received any documents, so they are filing suit to get that. So the purpose behind the Freedom of Information Act is to allow our citizenry, you and me, to be able to find out what the government is doing. There may be certain circumstances where documents should be classified, but nothing is completely classified forever. In fact, President Obama, before he left office, issued an executive order saying essentially that there are timelines. You cannot have a classified document be classified forever, which obviously may have some bearing on the FBI's investigation of Donald Trump as well. So that'll be interesting if he's depending on President Obama's order. But anyway, we'll deal with that at another time. But the point is that let's say, for example, there's a crash report for a personal injury case. I've had to deal with this where, for whatever reason, the law enforcement officers aren't giving us the file. We've called, we've asked, we're like, hey, please give us the document. They wouldn't do it. So I've had to write a letter to them stating that pursuant to the Freedom of Information Act, I'm demanding that you provide any documents relating to this crash investigation. And in the event that they don't comply, which I've never had them not comply once that request has been made, I've had to stay on them a few times, but I haven't had to sue them yet. But in the event that they don't satisfy that request within a reasonable time, then you could sue them for violating the Freedom of Information Act. So it's a very strong, beneficial thing. It doesn't apply just to the federal government. It applies to local municipalities. It applies to the sheriffs, the police. It applies to schools. It applies to all different government functions. And that's what we want. We want our government to be open, to be available to us regular people, so that we can make sure that our government isn't working against us, and we can find out what it is that they're trying to do. And so, for example, this last existing member of the Monkees is wanting to see, once they release these documents, if there are other things that can be discovered based on the FBI file. What other reasons were they targeting? What was the motive behind this targeting of the rock band? Were there really subliminal messages, or was that just a ruse to be able to open the investigation? So once they get this information, they'll be able to open Pandora's box and find out more. So anyway, I just wanted to throw this out there because I saw this was trending #1 on Google Trends. And it's important in just about every legal case. There's going to be some measure of government involvement, and it's important to know about your rights under the Freedom of Information Act. So I hope you found this video helpful. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell, and until next time, stay tuned.